Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
The podcast live stream. So today we are going to hit you guys with basically the ins and outs of occurrence units, geologists, and prospecting cydroids. So yeah, we were just talking about it before. How much time have you spent on it, Builder, already?
Oh my gosh, it's a couple hours a day. So kind of with the Pacey's help, I kind of figured out about the fusing on the jewels and for the prospecting cydroids, and I've gotten a few of the geologists, but I'm still not sure how well that's going to work out.
Yeah. So it took us pretty much all week to try and figure it out. And I've got some notes here, which is how complicated it is. So yeah, if you're in the Facebook, so I've changed it. I've actually changed our streaming platform. So I've got the Facebook, which goes live to the Earth 2 community. So you can see on the screen here that live now roundtable via Facebook. Because I actually found that Twitch, not a lot of people use the Twitch. People would rather use the YouTube.
Okay.
So I figured fair enough, but we'll give the Facebook a crack and see if anyone tunes in there, because I know there's a lot of people that don't use Discord, for example. We do quite often get a lot of people from X as well.
Right.
These are don't tell the missus I'm here. So Niz is actually on holidays in Malta at the minute.
Hope his holiday is going well.
Yes, I'm sure. We saw some pretty cool photos of Malta.
Yes,
definitely a great place to visit. So yeah, that's in the Facebook now, and also shout out to Patreon supporters Dancho, DB, and Spectrum 3900. There we go. Speaking of, it's made a new guide for resources setup. So you might need to pop that link in the chat there, Spectrum, for anyone who's interested. I've been really reliant on Earth 2 orbit. I'll pull that up for you guys now. It's really, really handy. So you're going to need this if you want to follow along, or maybe Spectrum's also got some stuff on his website as well. Yeah, so Earth 2 Pirates is saying YouTube and X is easier for people who already have an account. Not everyone uses Twitch. Let's see if I can find this here. So yeah, this is a cool little filter that was done by Steve McCrave of Twin Towers, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think about this, Builder? Have you seen this site before?
No, I have not.
So you can basically pull up, I'll put the link in the chat here, but you can pull up the different resources for what you want, and then it'll give you the corresponding jewel and the corresponding cydroid.
Nice.
Yeah, so that link is in the chat there. And yeah, so we just had the marble races as well, as you saw, and the tail end. Thanks to Rob and Ayag for hosting that with Pirate SR. That was actually pretty funny. And the last one I got last, so yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so type hashtag giveaway in the chat like everyone else is doing. If you are watching on X, best to go and pop over to YouTube or Facebook. Link is in my profile. And yeah, so quite a big update.
Yes, quite a big update.
Yeah, lots of moving parts. I think Shane said it was about 10 months worth of work in that one, which is massive. Yeah.
It's probably going to take us about that long to figure it all out. Comment
There
also.
was. Sorry.
Yeah, I have a question. Has
Sure.
anybody else noticed their essence being a little bit off?
Yeah. So what I've found in here, when you're collecting your ether essence, I
Uh-huh.
can't really show you here now because I've already collected for, and it's not really coming through. So when you go claim ether and resources,
Right.
sometimes there is some left over in your account balance of ether.
Right.
So it hasn't fully transformed everything. I'm not too sure why that is. But I'm going to follow that up with Ronald as well. There's a couple of bugs and stuff that I've been bringing to his attention. One was the marketplace for cydroids wasn't working properly as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go to the marketplace,
right,
and what it was doing. So you could go here, cydroids, and if I want to go Gilumbo, which is for oil, on mobile, it would say nothing. It would have nothing there. Excuse me.
So the mobile wasn't working.
No, it wasn't. You'd have to click on this one, which we're going to go over in a bit, and you'd select. So for this is oil. So these are prospecting cydroids. So these have been fused. Anyway, so the starting point for us here is in the profile page.
Okay.
We've got all these new filters down here. Filter by resource type, filter by frequency category, and yield status. So this is cool. So obviously they've now showing the different frequencies, which is copious, rich, moderate, sparse, deficient, unknown. And the unknown is like when you have D7 tier resources. So you vanadium and thorium and things like that, and your property is only tier 2, so you can't actually see what frequency it is. And then this is like when you've got the on target.
So when you're prospecting, the on target one is considered when you're prospecting if you're actually making the goal.
Yeah. So these are, you're basically reading and storing all the resources, whereas this, obviously that's fine. Reading halted, that's fine. So this is the KOM Genesis account, and all the hollow buildings are in place. Obviously, that reading there is fine, and these are not too sure what the go is there. It might be that it has resources that need prospecting cydroids, because there are a few higher tiers which need the cydroids as well. Anyway, so this is where you can have a play around and see where you've got copious.
Right.
So yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then you can also go into here, and this is where you can figure what resources you want to prioritize. So the biggest thing with this update is we don't know whether all of these occurrence units are actually reading properly, but that's not really the point. The point is to make sure that you are set up. So before we even go into the claim settings, you really have to go and check your slotting. So you can go this property here, for example, and you can go into your joules. So this will tell you all the resources it's got there.
Right.
And also whether it's copious, rich, moderate, sparse, or deficient. So these are the how much you're going to detect. And I've got a geologist here, but it's only level 1. So obviously these are all D1. And we'll go over the geologist. See, there's just so much info to go over. But the geologist will tell you how much occurrence units and your cubic meters.
Correct.
And it has to level up all the way to level 9 to even
read the other ones.
Yeah. But the geologist is basically just telling you the information here that's all in the question marks. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So the first thing you need to be doing is making sure you have the right joules slotted in there. So you can go slot joules. And then even in the slotting page, it tells you what frequency they're in as well. So copious, rich, moderate, sparse, it's all there. And then you can see, okay, so I've got thorium in there, but this may have just been for backdating resources, because in the property, with the cydroids, the D7, D8, and D9, I think it was, there was a certain number of higher tiers that would only allow you to basically get that with the cydroids. So on my account personally, I've got some vanadium showing, but I'm almost certain that you need a prospecting cydroid for that. So this is where a lot of this work is going to come into. It's going to be, I would say, first step is focus on these higher tier resources, because they're going to probably be the most rarest, and you're going to have to spend a bit of time getting them, but it's going to be backdated still. So you want the rare stuff like limestone and all that. That's, if you've got enough land, then that's fine. You don't have to do too much work if you've already slotted the cydroid jewel. I'll show you the perfect example here. So this account, for example, KM account. Now, this read something entirely different not that long ago. So this is why I'm saying the actual resources and what they're saying may not be accurate, but it should be the same across the board for everyone. So, for example, wood, sand, and water was saying like 500,000 cubic meters or something earlier in the week, and now it only says a couple thousand. So I don't know. But anyway, so you can see you get more of them, and then as you come down, these ones are probably a little bit harder to get. So back to here, portfolio. And so slotting is the first piece. The second piece is the hollow buildings. So you can't actually store anything in of these resources without a hollow building.
Right.
Makes sense?
Yes.
So, I mean, we all knew that. And there was a couple of people who actually said that they didn't get any resources because they didn't put any hollow buildings down.
Well, Shane said way back when you need to have the hollow buildings, you will get that retroactive resources. Yep.
We've been screaming out I've been trying to tell people for a long time. Jolly Roger says there are no bugs in Earth 2. Good one.
Yeah, right.
Spectrum says focus on the first discovery tier and slot the mentors to level up your geologist. So that's a good point. So we'll have a look at the geologist a bit later. Sarah's saying I'm light speculating the geologist might have more utility in the research lab. There's probably going to be some info in that announcement that we don't know yet and we haven't figured out yet, because it's not visible from the website, but we'll see. But yeah, what Spectrum's saying here is this is the quickest way to level up your geologist. They initially had the geologist getting experience through the rating cydroids. So you know how when you have civilians, so when you have your civilians and they level up through the amount of ether that they would detect.
Right.
So if I go into administration, so this is all the info you need on all your cydroids and civilians. And you can basically go civilians, select the geologist, and then we'll sort by experience. We'll see what they've got here. So this one doesn't have any experience yet. I did only just put some on earlier, so that might not have any experience. If I do that. So that one's got a little bit, 228. And that's going to give you the ability in this occurrence unit insight. So level 1 discovery tier, limestone, all that, and then when you get to level 9, so it's going to take you a long time to try and get to these ones here. But again, it's just insights. It just tells you how much occurrence units you're picking up and at what level. So when you go to, for example, so just put one on here. When you go to here, for example, this is only a 49 tier, 49 tile plot. So the more tiles you have in a property, obviously the more resources you're probably going to detect from there, and the quicker you're going to be able to level up your geologist. That's my take on it. Hasn't been 100% confirmed what the occurrence units equals to the experience, but that's basically how you get it up to here, up to the discovery tier 9. Anyway, so that's kind of a quick little thing with the geologist. So you can go in to your civilians where you would have normally created your civilians anyway, and you just go a property. Let's see, civilians, and you can synthesize the civilian geologist on its own. Now these are only 10 ether, whereas the rating cydroids are 25 ether. Again, it's just for information only. These here are new too. Did you see them?
What's that?
In the administration page, you also have a mentor
and weaver. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Spectrum saying that claiming ether and resources will level up your geologist as well.
There you go. Robin says, stop the entire show while he restarts his computer.
Okay.
I didn't think so, buddy.
All right.
Too funny. All right. Going back to this page here. Okay. So once you've slotted all of your jewels into each property, so you can either go through the property card and do the jewels here, or you can go. So the jewel slotting used to be a button just underneath the picture here.
Down a little bit. There you go.
But now it's in these tabs here, so you can match your resources and your jewels. Now, I don't know the accuracy of this information here, because this seems to fluctuate, this remaining percentage. I've seen it go from like 96% now to 68%. So there may still be some work to do there. But obviously what you essentially want to do is, if that's saying remaining 0%, you probably want to increase the size of your hollow building. Maybe. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's one way you can go in there, or you can go into property inventory where all your jewels are, and then go slotting, and then find your thing there based on the resource type, frequency, and tier. So that's the first step. Slot your jewels, build your hollow buildings, right? So they said 1,000 meters cubed initially.
Right.
For backdating, but that doesn't mean that is the max storage. So potentially you could go a lot higher than that.
That was just the max that they would be that they would backdate.
Correct. Yeah. So Wind here is asking, what does leveling up the geo do? And Spectrum adds more insights for other resources. Yeah. It basically tells you what occurrence units you're getting. I also believe, if I pull up this one here, for example, this one doesn't. There's a couple of properties on here that don't have resources, which is really quite frustrating. But let's see. I need to find a property that doesn't have a geologist to show you. Does this have a geologist? No, it doesn't. Yeah, so you can see question mark, question mark, question mark. But yeah, basically,
without the geologist, you don't have any. Doesn't show you any of the possible occurrence units.
Yeah. So by comparison, and it's going to be hard too, because you want to have all of those different resources to be able to tell you what occurrence units you're going to get per day. Otherwise, it's still going to show question mark. So you need that geologist to find that, and then you also need to add a level to discover all the other resources that you've got on the property as well. So does it really matter? I mean, this is probably going to be the main one, how much space you have remaining, and if you want to build more storage, you add it.
Seeing as how the geologist can be synthesized on its own, I'm sure that I think, like Spectrum said, the geologist can be leveled up. If you have prospecting droids and you're prospecting, the geologist will probably be leveled up based upon what the prospecting droid is doing.
It'll be based on the occurrence units that you get.
Right.
So if you utilize the prospecting cydroids more to get more occurrence units, then you will get more experience for your geologist, and that will obviously level it up. So that's kind of the point. The whole point of this stream is you can read the information on how much you have in your occurrence units to strategize, but it's more so on what you need to do to kind of maximize it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because some people are asking a lot of questions, like, how do I assign prospecting cydroids? What does a geologist do? What should I be doing? All that sort of stuff. So,
well, let's go over assigning as prospecting list. Where are you at? I'm not sure where you're at as far as your list, because I didn't get a list from you this week.
Oh, I was taking charge of it. You're in the passenger seat today.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes, I thought you would like that. So the property that I'm going to use as an example. So shout outs to the Pirates for their stream today. I didn't win anything, but you know, there's always next time. In Tobago, and this one actually has a cool EPL, Pirates Expo.
Oh, nice.
I don't know why that's in there, but I think it may have been gifted by someone. So yeah, we'll go into claim settings. So this is where you can tweak. It'll be set to auto anyway, and it will collect the resources in split based on how many joules you have slotted. So I believe this property has 5 joules, so that's going to split it up into 20% per resource.
Okay.
So this is the mentor, just with the joule that's getting the occurrence unit.
Okay.
It doesn't say daily how much is in this one, but it just says 19.92, and the max you can have is 1.37 thousand. And the biggest thing to remember here, because this will say 13.74 cubic meters, and I think that's how I'm going to pull up something on X, Twitter, a bit later, because that'll give us an indication, because someone did up a really cool graph. But basically, because there's so many resources on this property, some of these other ones I didn't have a joule slot for, but there is one. So I got a uranium cydroid, which is this little guy down here. The U589 is a legendary, so the legendaries are quite expensive. So if you don't have them, anywhere from about $10 up, just for one cydroid. Now, what I'm going to do here, so I can click on this cydroid and it'll take me to the cydroid menu. Now, this is how you build a prospecting cydroid if you don't know already. That's all the rating stats, basically. These are just the rating slots, so this doesn't factor in. Yeah, it doesn't factor in the resources. Okay, so this is using. I'll just read this. So if you slot this with the incorrect jewel, it just returns the jewel to your inventory, so it's not a big deal. But once you fuse it, that's it. It's permanent. So if you have luminous in or brilliance or anything like that, just be careful if you don't want to fuse them, because obviously that's irreversible. And how it works is you put the jewel in and it's random as to how many jewel slots you get, but you have a higher chance of getting more jewel slots with the higher tier. Does that make sense?
Yes. Although in Pacey's video, whatnot, he said that he got anywhere from 1 to 11 when he's doing the cracked, using a cracked jewel. I did 3 cracks and only got one slot on all 3, whereas I did a clear slot and I ended up with 10. So
I think it's a higher chance, but it's also random. Like you do have cases where, and I've done it in the past, where I've done 1 tier 1 jewel and I've gotten like 7 slots. So it's kind of random.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Irreversible. Now this one's got 2, which is actually quite good because I've got 2 spare jewels here. So we can see this is the yield power percentage. Base is 6.96. That's just with that jewel that I fused with it.
So everybody understands what Lazen's doing. He's creating a prospecting droid. So to create a prospecting droid, you have to take and fuse the droid with the jewel that it's prospecting for. In this case, it's uranium.
Yeah, so now I've got 2 resource boost slots. So you can see you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 maximum you can unlock when you fuse it. And it is somewhat random. But we're just going to go with that. That's 9.94%. And I have actually seen people get this yield power up to 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's through using luminous jewels and having 3 of the same prospecting cydroid. So we're gonna kick that one back here.
Okay.
And go back to claim settings. Now this one is uranium. So you open up prospectors, press that little button there. And now I can assign that to do that. So that will now give me, hang on. Total yield power is now 0%. Now I'm not going to be able to see what this occurrence value in a daily detection is going to look like because I don't have a high enough geologist. But I'm going to assign that anyway because that's going to give me.
It'll give you something.
Yeah.
Whether you can see it or not.
And now this balances it down to the percentage of about 16.67, which is like a 6, 1 out of 6. So now there's about 6 different things. So I've got 5 with the Mentar and 1 with the cydroid. Now, the main purpose behind these prospecting cydroids is that with this one, for example, it's going to give us a bit more occurrence units from this particular resource, and also because the higher tier resources require prospecting jewels, prospecting cydroids. So many terms that we have to go over here.
Yes.
Civilians, jewels, cydroids. So that's done.
Right.
But I still can't see.
Right. Be sure you got to make sure that you hit confirm when you take and assign to the prospecting droid. be sure to hit the confirm, because I forgot to do that a couple of times and didn't go through, and I didn't realize that I hadn't done it. So,
Oh, that would be annoying. You'd
yeah,
put in all this work, and that's like just for how long that took us, maybe a couple of minutes. Times that by how many resources on one property, and then you times that by how many properties you own, and it looks like a lot of work just to do that. But as I said, I'm only focusing on these higher tier resources that require a prospecting cydroid to start off with, because we still don't have any information about what the backdating looks like or what it's meant to look like. So when we come back to this page here and we have our resource balance, we don't know what it's meant to look like. We don't know if this is all correct. Obviously there's some capacity issues in here, and that's purely because it might have like a really tiny hollow building, and I just need to increase them,
right,
which is fine. But these are quite handy too when you go to resource transactions. So you're on your profile page, resources, and then this has all of the transactions. So it can tell you, like this one here, and I know the reason why this is reading and failing to store is because this property is bugged, and it has been bugged for well over a year. I really struggled to get a hollow building placed on that property. I have one on there, and it's slotted. You go to the property page. Jewels are in there. Place hollow building, but then when I actually go there, there's a hollow building there. So you're gonna have some issues like that. This one has been an issue for quite some time and very frustrating because it's a 655 tile tier 1 plot that just doesn't like the hollow buildings for whatever reason. So yeah, and then there's some other, obviously this one. So occurrence units, you've got, this is kind of like just a breakdown and gives you an opportunity to go, I'd really like to get some more of certain resources based on the frequency that you have. So iridium here, for example, that's blacked out, so I don't have any of that. Got some thorium. I think we've all kind of seen this page before anyway, but this gives you a bit of a breakdown of the frequencies more so than anything. Like 545 copious in diamond, that's pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, enough about that. So you got that resource balance, which kind of gives you a breakdown. This is meant to be what your balance is, so how accurate it is, I don't know, because it has changed a couple of times. And your resource transactions as well, so you can kind of figure out. This is another property here that's been bugging me as well. Again, hollow building issues. So if I go to filter by activity, that doesn't say anything. Now, I'm not too sure what this hollow building resource loss is.
I would. It's possible that if your hollow building is too small, your storage area is too small, and so it can't take any more, it will indicate, that'll indicate how many resources you've lost because it's too small of a building. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but I've got some capacity issues there, so I'm not really too sure. It's not showing up in there. Ozzy's saying is if your hollow building is full, but as I just said, there's no transactions to show for that, and I've got capacity issues, so I don't think that's the case, because the capacity issues is when you don't have enough space, basically. Is your hollow building full? Yep. What else? Is there a cap on the resource on each individual property? Something I thought I saw, something to keep in mind. I think what we're seeing in here, in this page where it has like the land resources, No, not that page. Sorry. I think when you go into claim settings, and it shows you like an OU max or something. I'm not too sure if that's. Yeah, there's a few questions that we still need to ask, because I don't want to say anything without being wrong, obviously, because there's a lot of things that you can't figure out. Yeah. What's the max? What's the what? It's a hard one.
The how-to page for this for these updates is going to be huge.
Oh yeah, it's going to be huge. I have an image here that has somewhat of an explanation, but I don't know how accurate it is. Hey, Conks.
Hey. Welcome to the stream.
This is the issues with single tiles now, and I'd been kind of screaming this for a while. I don't know if anyone's listening to me. There's a lot of people that they like to do the dual farming and the one tiles and things like that. Obviously, you need single tiles for that. I think you've got a dual farm, don't you?
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
This is the problem with dual farms, and that's why we wanted to have merging, but I don't know if we're going to see that. We'll see. Let me just have a look here. I will present to you what I think was a really cool picture. If I can find it. Yeah. So you can see here, this is what one user is thinking that it says. So property resource balance. First example, daily mining occurrence unit amount, remaining storage capacity, retro, active, and stored occurrence unit amount. So that's what you got stored. Yeah. Okay. This is what the information we can see after the prospect has been assigned. Obviously a huge increase there. Less days to fill it up, and obviously your daily mining amount increases. So this is basically a very simple breakdown of what prospecting cydroids can do for you. But just remember, 100 occurrence units is 1 cubic meter. So it might seem like 4,926 is a lot, but it really isn't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So anyway, so that's basically everything that you need to know. Did I miss anything? Do you think I missed anything?
I don't think so.
We kind of breezed through that pretty quickly. The main thing here, more than anything, as I've said in the past, get your hollow buildings built. And based on the production of what we're actually seeing here in the resources, you don't really need as big hollow buildings if you don't have them already. Like, you could just make one for 10 cents and just a cube, and that would give you 100 meters cubed.
Right.
I think that's solid. If you're only creating maybe like half a meter cube per day, that's going to last you up to a year almost of production. Right. And if you want to add another 10 cents into it later, if you feel like it's worth it, then shoot, go for it, you know. But definitely get the jewels slotted, hollow buildings in, and then your prospecting cydroids for the higher tier resources, so then you can actually produce some, because there's nothing worse than spending all this money on getting a thorium resource property, and then it's just sitting there not generating you any resources. Yeah, that's a good breakdown. Spectrum says 1 occurrence unit equals 100
cubic meters.
I think you got that backwards, Spectrum. 100 occurrence units equals 1 cubic meter, which equals 10 cents. So that's like 1 cent per resource, basically. So what's the market going to look like?
You can't. Yes, we did do that comparison with that one screenshot from from X. And you can't have a prospecting droid without it being fused with the jewel.
Yeah, let me just pull that up again for Aussie there.
Right.
In case you missed it, Aussie won. A cool shout, Aussie. He put up a couple of skins for the Pirates Marvel races, which is cool. I was almost gonna be like, you better not run into my screen time. Thankfully, he didn't. No, great bloke, nice guy. So yeah, this is a comparison, Aussie, for anyone who is wondering. And this is only with a it's a 11.1 occurrence unit hollow building size. So what's that? 10,000. So that's a $10 hollow building. It says, but it helps to show an example on the account when unassigning and reassigning. Yeah, the example that I set up on the account that I was showing, Aussie, was that the resource that I was doing was uranium. So because I didn't have a prospecting cydroid, then I put it on there, but also my what do you call it? Geologist was not at a high level. So let's just pull it up. We'll pull it up for Aussie one more time, shall we? It's always so quiet in here when Nizra isn't in the chat. Okay, let's go. Let's see if I can do this really quickly. First, I need some rating cydroids, so I'm going to go with limestone. Let's see how quickly I can do this, builder.
Okay.
This is just setting up for one property with limestone. I'm just going to skip straight past the... I'm going to buy select all. Let's go. This might seem really boring to some people, but it gives you a good example of how quickly it's going to take you. Oh, that's annoying. And I'm just skipping the fusing part. I'm just buying them straight off the marketplace like this. I just loaded up some funds this morning just so I could show you guys.
And you can buy prospecting droids straight off the marketplace also, but they're going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just setting up limestone on that one property just to kind of give you guys an example of what to do. So this is how you go in the marketplace. You go Bazaar, Cydroids, and then the first filter, which is prospecting Cydroids. So what I did this morning was I pulled up the uranium. Oh, why did that do that? Sorry, 1 second. Uranium, and that's the Aluka. These are all prospecting ones, so you can buy them without the dual fused, and they're actually cheaper.
Right. So understand, prospecting droids are droids that have already been fused with the jewel.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure the people, our listeners, understand that.
Is anyone listening though? I don't
know. Maybe not.
All right, let's go. Thanks for the idea too, Aussie. This is going to be a very, very good planning exercise for us here. How long it takes you to basically do it for one resource. So we're just going to go property. So they're already fused. Excellent. Only one slot. Damn it.
But
You can
may
just
not
cycle
be true with
through.
all of them.
Oh, there's 5.
See, that one got
Okay.
5.
But here's the thing too. It's like the slotting, so that actually goes down.
Right.
So then again, you've got to use the tier 3 jewels to kind of do that. See, that's actually less. Yeah. That's not going to really work. Maybe 2 is probably a good medium there. I'm just going to do it that way. Because after you go 2, it starts dropping,
See, that's 6.
which is really annoying. No, I did that one.
Scroll that up.
3,
Or we can't see it.
1.
Oh, that only got 1. See, now this
That went
is a
up.
good example. This is a good example of also how you're talking about the variations of how many slots you can get.
Yeah.
No,
But we don't know what jewels have been used to fuse these ones, so that's a hard one to sort of pick. But one of them there got up to 10%. Yep, so that one's a good one. I don't know why that one was really good. It's all kind of random.
yeah,
They all have different yield powers based on the jewel.
okay, so you got them all slotted.
I think so.
Yep.
Yep. All right, now we're going to go to profile, claim settings, and there's all my babies. Oh, okay. So I've got to go in here and charge some of these up too. This is a good point that we missed. So when you go into the rating,
If you don't have civilians on the property, then you have to manually charge them up. So you have to remember to go in and charge them up once in a while.
yeah, that's really annoying. And I'm gonna have to get a civilian for that as well. Hope I'm not going too fast for everyone here. I mean, that was kind of the idea, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You're at about 8 minutes right now.
Okay. So some of them are already automatically assigned. But I'm not too sure why. Did I click that before? Can't remember.
Not that I'm aware of.
Alright, so as you can see here, total yield power is 95%. And the total effect power doesn't really change when I unassign these. Oh yeah, that one does. Why didn't that one? That one doesn't. That one did.
Oh,
Yeah, that is really strange.
so some of them
Anyway.
are not registered. Some of them are not registering yet for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was the 2 that already showed that they were assigned, so maybe that was before and after. Something. I don't know. And then I can obviously change this here.
Right.
So I can go meow, meow,
You could.
and turn it all the way up.
Right.
Now the total effect power is 77.25, which is 5.3. You can kind of see how that works, right? You slide that down, that goes up. So this might be like the maximum that you can basically get from your total yield power and total effect power. Oh, did you see that? Just like jumped up randomly. Anyway,
It might be working on the system as we're talking.
yeah. So this is just the storage by the looks of it. Go back to here. Yeah, so 95.81%. Plus the 7% that you get from the Mentar, so that's 100%. That's basically double what you would normally
Right.
get. I think that's kind of what we're getting at here, is that it's the same thing with the jewel slotting. You slot the jewels and then it gives you that buffer.
Right.
You're getting the effect power, yield power. And then with some of these other ones too, what we saw in the slotting was that there was still some slots left over, not this one. No, not that one. No,
Second or third one.
Yeah. So what I can do here, go to property inventory.
Sorry, I'm battling a cold, guys.
No, that's all right. Good. So we could go. Let's go slate. Yeah, we'll buy slate. There we go. Slot 3, 2, 2. Let's try this one. Nope. Punch that in there. Boom. 14%.
Yep.
And you can obviously do it like that if you really wanted to. But I feel like this is like, just by doing that, how many minutes is that? Like maybe 10 minutes if I knew what I was doing without stuffing around.
Yeah, it took you about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I took a shortcut there because I bought jewels and I bought the civilian and I bought the prospecting cydroids. I add a little bit of time there to make your own. That's like 15 minutes, give or take, per property that's already slotted with a hollow building.
Right. Problem is you didn't show what it was before you started slotting.
Well,
that's all right.
Well, it's basically double. I mean, do you need to see what the OUs are specifically? That's kind of what I'm saying. It's really hard to gauge what's right.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
you know.
We saw the example from the X file, and so
X file.
The file you showed that the previous one that showed the difference between having a prospecting cydroid versus not having a prospecting cydroid.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool functions in here, I think, that they've added as far as being able to read what's going on in your profile.
Right.
But I mean, this profile here, which is the Knights of Malta Genesis, pretty much every property is over 50 tiles, and there's only 258 properties. 54, close to that. It's meant to be 55,555, but we had to account for the sandbox plot as well. But just imagine that 258 times 15 minutes.
Right.
And that's not even like, so with this example here, that was just focusing on one resource, and you have to have all the jewels to do it. And you have to have all the proper cydroids to do it.
Right.
And just to buy all those cydroids, it was like $10, you know?
Yes.
And, you know, how many cydroids could you technically house? You go into your overview.
I think you need to take and sit down and figure out, you know, if you're going to work on mining and gathering resources, then you got to take and prioritize what you're going to work on. So of course, for me, like what I'm doing what I'm principally looking at my larger properties that I would expect to gain more resources out of, and not concentrating too much on my smaller properties.
Yeah.
So and on those larger properties, I put the Geologist on. I've already upgraded my cydroids to some not all prospecting cydroids. I've left some rating cydroids as well. So understand that if you make a cydroid a prospecting cydroid, it no longer raids.
Yeah, that's right. So if we go into here, when you compare what we've just done, they all say prospecting. So it's cool though, because it tells you how many jewels are in it and what resource it's prospecting, which is great. When we go back to here, Tobago, one's for sale. And that's what you're going to have to do if you've got cydroids that don't have the relevant resource on it. If I pull this up.
But Ozzy's saying that they'll still raid if they're not prospecting.
Oh, yeah, if they're not assigned, you can still raid with them. That's right.
Yep.
But it's kind of redundant, isn't it?
Right.
So prospecting cydroids can still raid.
Okay.
Like, this one here's for sale, so it can't do anything. And then this one's prospecting. But there wasn't any tungsten on this property, so this guy here, the necro signal, kind of redundant. Yeah. So I guess that is kind of like a tutorial. I hate to kind of like jump into Pacey's market, because that's what he does. But yeah, if you guys have any questions on that, we can try to go through. Traveler here is saying, do we need to put cydroids in all the slots, or also one single cydroid will help? It's up to you how much you want to increase your occurrence units and production. But you're going to need the prospecting cydroids for higher tier. So D7, D8, D9. Is that right? Let me just check. I'm trying to make sure that is all good. And there was some people post this graph, and I think it actually has it on there. Can't remember. Maybe there's like does anyone know where there's a little graph with all the cydroids and the resources?
I have it up right now. I'll share it with you. Hang on a second. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. But it doesn't say. I think there's another one that has like a yes, no.
What do you mean?
It says whether the property needs to be tier 1 or whether it needs prospecting cydroids.
Oh, I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Must be out there. Yeah, might be floating around somewhere. It's a really handy graph if anyone knows where it is. Yeah, so D7 to D9, Ozzy saying, need to be tier 1 and have a prospector cydroid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So
I knew the 7 to 9 was tier 1. I just didn't know that they were required to have a prospecting cydroid.
Yeah. So this image as well is really good too. Because it gives you everything you need to
gives you what jewels you need to slot in your cydroids, tells you which cydroid and which mineral you're prospecting for.
All right, so we've got the giveaway. It is what is that skin? What was that skin that we recently had that people were poking fun at because all it was pants?
It's not even pants. It's called what did they call it? Hang on a second here.
Stock, like legging.
They're
boots?
like leggings.
It look like boots and undies. Yeah.
A strap or something like that around your leg. Let's see.
Yeah, Ozzy's saying tier 2 will not even allow you to assign a fused prospect cydroid. Yeah. Good thing I had tier 1. Yeah. But I'm going to need to do a
cyber ring skin.
Yes, so I've got one of those up for grabs, and I've got the little giveaway thing here. Hey Jason, welcome in. It needs to have a prospecting cydroid to detect any occurrence units. No, only for discovery tiers 7, 8, and 9. and we have got backdated from those discovery tiers as far as I can tell, because I've got a resource balance in there for those that I haven't input prospecting cydroids on. So that's based on the jewel slotting. Make sense? Yep, we need to have those land upgrades, especially for the higher tiered resources. So if you bought new land in the last year from all the announcements for those higher tier, like how common is it going to be for people to have bought land tier 1 expecting those resources? You might have like a diamond mine, but I don't think diamond's in that higher tier category either. Uranium, maybe? Uranium would be one that would be, you know, some people buy uranium mines or bought them. Yeah, good to know. Yep. Hot tip there for you, Jason. You're going to have a lot of work, which you are not shy of doing anyway. So, hey, Connor.
Uranium is in the high tier. It's a D8.
Yeah. Right, so let's do this giveaway and finish this up, because I don't want to keep people waiting around too much longer. So the pants that are just rings that aren't really pants, that's what we're giving away. 14 entries in there, last chance for anyone to jump in. Hashtag giveaway. Come on, Jason, get your comment in there. I haven't seen you do it. Hashtag giveaway. Was scared. 14's not many. I feel like we've had a pretty quiet day. Remember that everyone was all exhausted from the pirates and Robert Hale screaming. It's so funny to watch though. It's so entertaining. Like, I watch that and then I get on. I'm like, man, I just don't have the same energy. I'm sorry. There we go. XR4's in here. Jason, Traveler.
Oh, welcome. Glad everybody came and joined us.
Conquerors. Yeah, I think you already got it, Conks. Worth a shot though. Do it again. Team, whoever that is. It's so strange because people have YouTube accounts, but they don't post anything to their YouTube. So they could have had a YouTube for 10 years. You just don't know who it is.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, looking at this live viewers, I'm not getting any hits from Facebook. So that might be a Debbie Downer, that one. Anyway. Hashtag giveaway. Let you guys go for another 2 minutes to do that one. Yeah, so it looks like we've got a lot of work ahead for these setting up prospecting cydroids. I've just been buying the Geologist because they're only like 10-11 cents.
Right.
And I do the math in my head, right? So 10 ether, if essence was $1, would be less than a cent, I think. Do some quick math here. So 10 ether times 6.65%, 6.5%.
Right.
10 times 0.065.
About a half a cent.
Yeah, about half a cent. Yeah. So, or maybe that. Maybe I've got that backwards then. Maybe it's 16 ether is 1 essence. Oh, yep. So 10 ether would be half an essence, which could be like 50 cents. If it was $1, it would be 50 cents, right? So 50 cents. Okay. And yet people are selling them for 10 cents. That's my take on that. Not a financial advisor. Yeah, Jason, a few issues with the hollow buildings. It's kind of ongoing, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't mind the skin. I didn't end up getting it though.
I got a couple of jackets. I just grabbed them.
Of course you did. You always get them. I never get them. I'm an R and oh, should I? All right, let's draw this thing. Let's go. Pirates got in there. Do 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 do. Oh, there are 2 pirates rigged again.
All right.
Oh, what? Yes, indeed. I don't know who runs the Earth 2 Pirates account. I'm just going to screenshot this one for their pleasure. Because they seem to be winning a lot lately. But, you know, they gave away like, what, 8-9 skins this morning or something crazy, and we just do 1 a week. Like,
right.
Let's not go overboard.
Well, we'll give a couple more. We'll give a couple extra away next week because I have a blood art open for giveaway, and
oh, you still got it.
Yep.
You're gonna have to give it away to someone, or else it's gonna end up yours.
Right. So next weekend, be sure to check in, guys, because we will be giving a blood art pirates away, and a couple other things. I'm not sure but I got a couple more things to take and give away. So.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on your Lost Night episode.
I know. I've been kind of sick this week. So.
All right, I'll let you off. I had my kids in hospital, both of them, so you know.
I had a guy working for me, and he went to a new job. He started a new job this week, but he left me with a present. He was sick on Friday, and he passed it on to me, unfortunately. This week has been a little bit rough. So.
Yeah. So anyway,
excuse me.
Unfortunately, our little tutorial was very on the fly, and it was live. But I hope that everyone got something out of it, and we answered some pertinent questions for everyone. But just to recap, the main focus, I think, is making sure your jewels are slotted. You have your hollow buildings in place. What up, B Gardener? Thank you. So jewels, hollow buildings. If you want to see the occurrence units and what they're doing, synthesize or buy a geologist.
Right.
If you're not phased, if you just want to boost it up without knowing, you want to fly blind, that's fine. Use the prospecting cydroids, get them fused, and then you can slot them to give them a boost. And then we can all buy Lamborghinis.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Right, yeah. Let's finish
this
one up.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next weekend.
Adios.